Hi everyone, it's Kristen. So we're doing part 2 of the saga of Storm, Goddess of Thunder. It's Loki versus the X-Men versus the New Mutants. And when we last left them, Loki had captured all of them, and Cyclops reminded him, so much for your word to never do the X-Men harm, because we just talked about this one, and the Elder Gods made Loki swear that he wouldn't do them harm. And Loki, being Loki, is like, oh, it's not me. It's, your own teammate. Her power backfired and it just happened to benefit me. And he has other people to do his bidding, like rock trolls. So he sends rock trolls after the rest of the X-Men. And Nightcrawler, being a teleporter, escapes his bonds. He goes over to Rogue, kisses her while holding on to Cyclops, so giving her his powers and Cyclops' powers. I don't think that's how that works, but okay. So she blasts Loki, is on him, hoping to end him, when Storm's like, no, stop it. What are you doing? And, Rogue is momentarily, distracted, like, Storm? What? What's going on? So Loki uses that opportunity to shackle Rogue and, make her a prisoner again. And Storm's confused because she's like, well, that can't be Rogue because she's harming my friend. Loki's my friend, and Rogue's my friend, and friends don't harm friends. So the rest of the X-Men that are free meet up with the rest of the New Mutants. But unfortunately, they are found by the rock trolls and the two wolves, Danny and the Prince, Rain and the Prince that have been transformed by the collars that Loki used. And Doug and Warlock come in as this spaceship that looks vaguely familiar and zap everyone. And Sam manages to cut the collar off of Rain, and Rain, begs him to do the same thing to, her prince. And the rock trolls, feeling like they're outnumbered, they're like, flee, brothers. We have what we wanted, which they wanted the fairy, Amara, which, doesn't say why, but that's what they say Loki wanted. So they leave, they flee. And we open on Loki in the Hall of Heroes, and he's sitting on the throne. And, he's making this speech about how, Odin's gone, my beloved father, my revered father, and that, Thor's going off wherever, and so he's come up with a replacement for Thor. And, basically, Karma realizes that Loki has possessed magic, so Karma possesses magic to cancel out Loki's possession, which it works, and therefore then they can free everyone. And then you see Roberto Sunspot, kind of hiding in the crowd. And he's like, why not just, Roberto Sunspot, it's like, why not just stay here? Here, they love me. They know how to treat heroes. And Wolverine's like, so that's what you want, is glory. That's what you're all about. You don't, actually care about people. You just care about yourself. And, he's like, whatever, you do what you want. I'm going to go find Storm because she's who I care about. So the X-Men break out. They escape. And basically Loki, in his speech, he's saying, fellow Asgardians, I prevent a warrior maid, pure of soul, noble of heart, fitting heir to Thor's place, and should should he choose to reside on Midgard amongst the mortals he dearly loves. So, or never to return from his quest. Her name is Aurora, which in her native tongue means beauty, and that she is in spirit as form. I would have you welcome her as, and he was gonna say, as, Thor's replacement. See, I think she looks really cool there. Like, I've never liked the mohawk look on her, but, and like in here, in this Asgardian armor, I think it works. And then he's interrupted in his speech because someone has pulled a cloak over him. And that would be Rachel. She used her, telekinetic powers to move it. So they're there to rescue Amara because that's who the rock trolls took, and Storm. And the people of the people that are at the Hall of Heroes are like, what the heck is happening? Why would they dare attack, right here? And Loki's like, okay, this was not all the way unexpected, and he calls the rock trolls to, help him defend himself. And the people of Asgard are like, how dare Loki summon such as these to this sacred place? Because apparently they're like Asgard's ancient foes. So now they've turned against him. And basically what Loki wanted was the hammer, which is what Amara had. She was, holding on to. So he gets the hammer, and he says, Aurora, reach into the fire and take up destiny. And this panel is awesome, because look, then you see Storm as the goddess of thunder, which I just think that's awesome. And, Loki says, thinks to himself, magnificent, her hammer is bound to my power by the spells that forged it, and Aurora to it by her lifeblood. And Wolverine steps forward and he's like, Storm, this is all a lie. You're being suckered. This is not real. I mean, he's just using you. And she's like, he's my friend. He wouldn't lie to me. And she blasts Wolverine, and he keeps coming forward. And Storm, it gives her pause because she's like, usually evil beings are cowards. They're only out for themselves. So why does he persist? Why does he keep coming? Because she's like, but Loki is my friend. He would not lie. And then Wolverine, claps, says, he's the god of lies. That's all he does. And then Hela comes in because Wolverine's dying, and she's like, stand aside so I can, claim this soul as mine. And Storm's like, you will not claim him. He's my friend. And then Valkyrie, Dani, who is a Valkyrie, she just doesn't know yet. And this is where Hela tells her that she's a Valkyrie. She steps in too and says, you cannot claim him. And Dani says, well, if that's who I am, what my stay in Asgard has made me, then I choose to slay you. And of course, she can't slay Hela. And Storm, of course, is like, what the heck have I done? Oh my gosh, my friend. Because Storm and Wolverine are very close. They have a close relationship. And Storm, of course, goes berserk and tries to destroy Hela so she can't take Wolverine's soul. And then Cyclops and Phoenix, Rachel, join in, and Hela's like, oh, I can't do this right now, because basically her foes are at the gates of hell right now, and she has to save her strength to match it against Thor. So she disappears because she's crap, I'm needed I'm needed elsewhere. I can't deal with this right now. And basically, Storm tries to use the hammer against Loki, but Loki laughs at her and says, it's forged with my magic because, look, he can catch it. So you can't, there's nothing you can do. You can't use this power against me because I'm the one who gave it to you. I'm the one who forged this hammer. So you can't. And, okay. So remember how we talked about, Cyclops already mentioned, so, your word is worthless because you said you wouldn't harm the X-Men, and here you are harming us. And Loki, of course, trickster, God of lies that he is, it's like, I'm not doing it, it's your teammate, or, oh, look, it's the rock trolls, it's not me, I have no control over them. Anyway, and then Kitty Pryde says, stands up to him, because he's like, my patience is at an end, it's time to end all this. And Kitty's like, you know what? No, because there's a lot of us X-Men here, all the Valkyrie, the New Mutants. What happens if we scatter and you can't catch us all? One of us, sooner or later, will get to Thor and tell him what you did and tell him what's going on. And he will come up here and he will defeat you. Or, she'll find someone that can get in touch with someone that can defeat him. And he's like, are you threatening me? And she's like, yes. Anyway, so, and then I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but Carnilla, it says she's the Queen of the Norns. She's watching this whole thing. She is a sorceress. Her plan was to confront Loki, but she's not quite ready yet. But she's the one who allowed Illyana to reach out to Kitty because of their bond, in Kitty's dream, project, what was happening to her so that she could come and get help. So basically, she kind of orchestrated that whole thing, and or their rescue, and she wanted to confront Loki, but she's not ready yet. And Loki's like, fine, okay, you can all leave, but you all have to leave. None of you can stay, or if one stays, all of them, you stay. So, unfortunately, this crushes Raine's heart because she's in love with the prince, and she wants to stay, but she can't condemn all of her friends to stay. So she's just crushed. And he takes back all the powers and enchantments and gifts that they've been bestowed, like Storm, she's powerless now. Sam, the armor and the sword are gone. And they actually all go back to Limbo, where they were. And everything that Illyana learned from the Enchantress's spell books, she forgot those. Oh, I'm sorry, they'll return. So apparently Enchantress has been stuck in limbo, so they'll bring her back. And Magma will become a human again. Although it's interesting because he says, however, I'm not so ungracious as to condemn thee, Karma, to the gross form that was thine on Midgard. Thou can retain thy beauty. Remember, like we talked about how Shadow King possessed her, basically used her body in a gluttonous form. She became so morbidly obese, like Mojo. Like, just look at him and you're just like, oh, that's gross. Because that's not normal or healthy or anything. And so he's like, and she got super depressed after that. So I find it interesting, and that's why I told you about that he allows her to still be basically thin and beautiful. Like, so that, shows that he's not completely bad. Which, I mean, because that's a nice thing to do, like, to let her stay, as she was, instead of returning her back to as she was before the Shadow King happened to her. Anyway, and then they basically the Valkyries are like, well, Dani has to stay because she's bound to the horse, Brightwind, and it's a Valkyrie horse, so she's a Valkyrie. And Dani says, I can't. I won't, condemn my friends. I have to leave. And so the Valkyrie says, well, then you can take the stallion with you because you guys are bound together. So you may, basically take him with our blessing. And then Loki offers Storm one last chance, like, hey, on Earth, you're nothing. You have no powers. Here, you can have all the power you want. You can be able to fly again. You can have, basically kind of your weather control power back. And so Storm's like a tempting offer, and she basically uses the power of the hammer to destroy the hammer. And of course that makes Loki mad because, she refused him. So he sends them all back. He, has them leave. And so he's like, my part of the bargain has been fulfilled. And they're like, okay, we'll keep our word as well then. And another person says, in Valkyrie, they say, as far as Asgard is concerned, 'twas a misunderstanding, a good deed gone awry. No wickedness was intended and none done. But beware, should and Loki laughs, and he's like, huh, basically, yeah, I gambled and I lost, but the game continues because, as basically an immortal, I have nothing but time. So, like, I can wait and try again. And he keeps this little token of Storm because he's kind of enamored with her, which, like I said, I think she looks awesome there. I don't like the mohawk, but right there with the Asgardian armor, it looks awesome. So, anyway. So I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, I was looking through my comics, and I found those two stories involving Loki, and I thought with all the interest in him around the Disney Plus series that it'd be interesting to show a different side of him, especially since it has to do with the X-Men. You guys all know how much I love X-Men, but anyway. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope you join me in the future for more videos. Until next time, bye.